Watch more, feel more. Dell.
134 for 8 then in New Zealand's first effort in this ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2021. Would you take that if you're Pakistan? I think you would. We'll ask Shan, Masood and Tom Moody on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell. Shan, how happy are you at halftime after restricting New Zealand to 134?
Extremely happy. I mean, early doors, whenever Pakistan put the pressure on in the power play, this time they didn't get wickets, but they made sure New Zealand never sort of got a good run rate in during the power play. And that's what stifles teams. Once you get into the middle overs and the field is spread out and the spinners come in, and then a guy like Haris Rauf, like we said, if he bowls wicket to wicket, it'll be good results for Pakistan. And even when New Zealand started to get in the game, because they didn't have that flying start, once Pakistan got that Williamson wicket, they were back on top of the game and they finished it off very well.
We were wondering what sort of surface we'd get at Sharjah today, Tom.
Yeah, look, I think it's a little bit better than what the New Zealand score is reflected. I think we need to really pay a lot of credit to the way that Pakistan bowled as a unit. Yeah, look, Ralph was the exception. He was the leader of the pack, but everyone contributed. Everyone bowled well. They are a formidable bowling unit. We talked about pre-show. We talked about the diversity and the differences that this attack can bring to different games, different opposition, take advantage of different conditions. And they're really shaping up very, very nicely with regards to, how they can dismantle a side with the ball.
How well is Haris Rauf bowling, Shan?
That's what happens when you bowl well against a top side like India, against India's batsmen, how he finished off the innings. And this time around, he played a different role. Last time around, he finished it off well. This time around, he came in the sixth over. That's an important over. Guptill and Mitchell had a little bit of a stand by then. Gets Guptill out, bowls another over in the middle, bowls wicket to wicket, bowls really well. And he was deceiving the Kiwis by pace. And once you're clocking close to 150, no matter whatever slow ball you have, even if it's not as good as Hassan Ali's or some other bowlers, it's always going to be a difference when it comes down from 150 to 120. So again, he utilized that slow ball really well in the end, and he finished the innings off. So that was a very professional job by him at the end as well.
Has he always had this slow ball, Shan, from whatever you know of him? Is this a recent development?
He's had it, but he has never used it that often. If he's bowling a slow ball, it'd probably be 1 out of 6 in an over. He's always gone to the Yorker. He's always gone to the bumper. That's been his go-to ball. But right now, his go-to ball has been the slower one. And it's like I said, it's a stark difference in a pitch like Sharjah, where the ball isn't bouncing as you expect it to. When it comes from 150 to 120, it's a huge difference.
Looks like a bowler who's evolving in his T20 bowling, isn't he, Tom?
Yeah, look, we first saw him in Australia in the Big Bash. He played for the Melbourne Stars, and he was relatively, unheard of outside of Pakistan. But he really turned some heads that season. That was about 2 years ago, I think, and he bowled quick. He didn't have the subtleties that he's got now or the control that he's got now. So he's really improved and evolved, with the opportunities that have been handed to him, whether that be through the Big Bash, whether that be through the PSL, or whether that be representing Pakistan. So he's a real find. And to have someone that can bowl genuine pace in the middle of the innings can really disturb the pattern of the game, because a lot of power players that come into the middle phase of the game are generally, players that don't have a technique that's ideally suited to genuine pace. They're not your Kane Williamson's type players that are, that will use the pace cleverly and find the gaps.
4 for 22 for Haris Rauf, his first 4-wicket haul in international T20 cricket. So he'd take that any day. What a start it's been for him. Now, for New Zealand, Tom, Daryl Mitchell at the top, Neesham at 4, Conway at 5. Make sense of that, please.
I can't. I really can't. I was going to ask you, actually, because it's the type of batting order you'd throw out. But, yeah, look, it just didn't make sense to throw it around like that. I just think that, go back to the old adage of you give your best players the most amount of balls to be able to make an impact or create, an opportunity for you to have an impact as a group, as a playing group. It was very muddled. I'm sure they had their method in what they were trying to do. It just didn't seem to make a huge amount of sense, particularly the Mitchell at the top of the order, because then it creates a wave down the order and pushes everyone further down. There's a number of players like Tim Seifert, for instance. He's had success opening the batting for New Zealand, and he batted at 8. Makes sense of that.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't do it, but nobody cares about that. So let's ask Shan Masood now. He can make sense. What's happened here, Shan? Somebody overdoing the matchups and the analysis and whatnot? What's happened there?
Yeah, I think maybe, but if you look at Mitchell himself, he got a decent start in. Neesham came in, and Neesham's thing was he'll take on the bowlers as soon as possible. He went on with the game. Conway, again, that we talked about him being in the middle. He's not as effective because towards the latter end of the stages, we just thought that he was a bit out of sorts when it came to sort of hitting the long ball. And his best position seems batting right up there. And what I noticed about New Zealand, and I've never seen it, I've always seen them as this calm and composed side. They're very jittery today. I've never seen Kane Williamson being a bit jittery. The running was a bit sort of was a bit all over the place. They were hesitant. They weren't running the runs to the right fielders. And then you just saw New Zealand making those mistakes. And then also I saw Kane Williamson sort of taking a lot of risk, staying on the back foot to the spinners for just a single. I think that's a huge risk when you're just getting one run and staying on the back foot on a pitch that's keeping low. So once he used his feet, he got a one-handed 6. I don't feel they use their feet quite often. Against Imad and Hafiz, you have to do that because they're not going to spin the ball. So you're supposed to deceive them by using your feet. And I just felt they were a bit sort of rusty to start off the campaign with, as it was their first game, and they weren't calm at all.
It's not something you associate with Kane Williamson. We discussed this at length on the pre-show. You brought up the fact that he is carrying some sort of injury, Tom, and he has been for a while. But are you surprised as to the confusion that's come into Williamson's batting regards to the gears that he needs to bat in T20 cricket, something we did sort of see in the IPL as well with the Sunrisers?
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be reading too much into it. As I said, I don't think he is batting his best, and I think a lot of that has led to his preparation has suffered because of his injury, and I'm meaning his preparation over a long period of time, but also his pre-game routine has also been disrupted because he's got to be mindful of the volume that he has at practice with regards to hitting balls. And Kane Williamson's someone that does like to prepare in a very thorough manner. So he's had to change his whole way and his method of preparing. Yeah, look, I'm sure that he'll come good, but he is going to be hampered because he has got a genuine issue with his elbow. So, let's hope for New Zealand's sake and also his sake that he manages to get on top of it and it returns to 100% sooner rather than later.
Yeah, fair enough. Babar and Rizwan already out in the middle. Shan, they love this. 150 in the first game, 135 in the second. They'd be doing somersaults inside their minds.
Yeah, but the onus is on them to make sure they give a good start. Early wickets will be crucial for New Zealand. I think they've been 20 runs short of a par score and about 30 runs at least short of a winning score. So Babar and Rizwan, again, important for Pakistan. Make sure they bat the chunk of the innings and not put any pressure on the middle order.
Santner started, Tom. Did New Zealand have the type of bowling likes of Neesham and Mitchell and Sodhi to make something out of this, to make it hard for Pakistan?
Well, they'll need the assistance of the surface. If the ball is holding up in the surface, they may well be effective. No surprise to see Santner, left arm orthodox against the two right-hand openers is always a fancied matchup. So it's no surprise to see that. The only one thing is that with Trent Boult, he does swing the ball, and with the white ball, it only swings for the first, 1 or 2 overs. So you want to give it to Boult just to see if he can get one through their defence.
All right. I fancy both of you are backing Pakistan, so I shall leave it there. Thank you, Tom Moody and Shan Masood. Let's see if Pakistan can make it 2 out of 2. It's a result India wouldn't mind as well, funny enough, with their game against New Zealand coming up over the weekend. This looks like the Pakistan team that did put India aside quite easily a few days back. Let's see if they can make it 2 out of 2. Join us at the end on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket Info T20 Timeout, powered by Dell.
Watch more, feel more, Dell.